Having surgery is stressful enough. So how do you pick the best hospital and doctor to perform it? Consumers don't always know how to make that important decision. Well, now there is a new guide to help you do just that. And here to explain how it all works is Dr. Arkell Giorgio. So thanks for being with us today, Doctor.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start. The most common problems. What are some of those that people really face when they're trying to pick out a hospital or a doctor for something as important as this?
Well, the most common problem is that people rely too much on the referrals from friends, family, even their doctor, and don't take the time to do their own research when they're selecting a doctor in a hospital, and especially when they even have the time, like with elective surgery. So in Columbus, Ohio, for example, 19% of the patients in Columbus get care at hospitals with the highest complication rates and the highest mortality rate. If you do your research, you can potentially keep yourself out of that statistic.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you need to do research in that case. So let's talk about some questions that patients need to ask when they're trying to pick a hospital or a doctor. What do they need to consider?
Well, it's not as daunting a task as most people think. I see it as a two-step process. So first you want to identify the doctor that has the most experience performing the procedures, the surgeries, or treating the conditions that you have. Not all doctors are good at all conditions, of course. And experience usually goes along with better outcomes. So you're going to find a subset of doctors that are the most experienced, and then you're going to look at what hospitals they admit their patients to, do their surgery in, and then compare and look at what the mortality rates and complication rates are for the hospitals. And it's sort of like a marriage between finding the best doctor working at the best hospital, and that's going to give you the best chance of getting the best care.
So tell us about this guide. How does it work?
Well, you can go onto healthgrades.com and search by 12,000 different procedures and conditions and diagnoses to get to this research. Actually quite easy to use. But at the same time, we recognize that people that are having surgery might feel overwhelmed at doing that research. So we wanted to make it even easier to use. So what this guide is about, also on healthgrades.com, is it's a one-step process to identify the top performing hospitals in every given city, for example, Columbus, Ohio. So let me give you an example. There's 6 hospitals that we evaluated in Columbus that do heart surgery, open heart surgery. And actually, only 32% of patients, based on our data, are going to 32% of patients are going to hospitals with the highest mortality rate. Again, you want to stay out of that statistic. Doing your research, you can go right to the guide, and it will tell you that the top performing hospitals for open heart surgery are Doctors Hospital, Fairfield Medical Center, Mount Carmel West, Ohio Health Grant Medical Center, and the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center in Columbus. So if you want to bypass doing a little bit of the research, even though I wouldn't always recommend that, you can cut right to the chase and identify which are the top performing hospitals for different types of conditions, because not all hospitals perform well for all procedures.
Absolutely. So you want to do your homework. And if you have time, like you mentioned, it's even more important to do that homework.
Absolutely. And the more severe or rare or complicated or high risk a procedure is, the more important to do your research. Unfortunately, that's also the time when you may be even more overwhelmed. But take into account that if you go to a site that's easy to use, easy to navigate, doing that research could really be the matter of life and death.
Okay, doctor, where can we go to learn more?
Go to healthgrades.com. I do want to point out that it's all free, very easy to navigate, so do your research.
All right. Well, thanks for spending some time with us today.
Thank you.